We're going to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and good morning to everyone. We got a packed house today. It's not what we've been used to in the past year, and it's nice to see everybody back in full form, and we want to welcome all of you here to the County Commissioners Board meeting. This is our 24th meeting of the year. It is Thursday, June 17th. Wow, half a year's gone at 10:05 a.m. And before we get into our meeting, we have a distinguished guest here that's going to be honoring another distinguished guest. We have Judge Delick, and Judge, you're going to announce an award recipient. I'm going to turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Trafficani, and good morning, Commissioners and Ms. LaVoy. Pleased to be here, and thank you for letting us talk. We are honored. We received a call from the Department of Defense, the employer support of the Guard and Reserve. One person you may recognize, Walter Dusney and James Fairbanks. They let me know that we had an employee who's one of our supervisors in our Justice Center who is being honored. He was nominated by someone who was in the reserves and received an award, and that's Michael Crosby. Michael, he come up here, and he brought his mother.
Bring your mama. Come on up, Miss.
His mom, we're very pleased. He has a very difficult job.
Wait a second.
I know.
She is not his mother.
I said the same thing.
I know.
Now maybe he's her father.
But he has a difficult job. He's a shift supervisor on our second shift with all of our students. He's just been a great asset to the center, and we're very proud and honored to have him receive this award. Mr. Fairbanks and Mr. Dusney are both here. I think they passed out their literature. So if any of you haven't, did you want to say a word or two?
Sure.
Tell them how many.
Yeah.
Y'all remember Mr. Dusney, don't you?
Oh my God, yes. He's never missed a step, believe me.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being with us here this morning. Thank Judge Delick. As was pointed out, I am with the Department of Defense. I am the Director for Military Outreach for the state of Ohio. And let me tell you the backstory about this award, and that's the important part. Our job is to go out and gain and retain support of employers, both private sector and the public sector, of men and women who are serving in our active reserves and or the National Guard. As you know, the deployment factors and all that sometimes creates a little bit friction between them. And we're out here to make sure that everybody knows what the rights and duties and responsibilities are. We also then, and I go out amongst the commanders of military units in the state of Ohio, and I encourage them to have their members who have an employer or a supervisor that's doing a great job of support to let us know. And the story then goes like this. A young man who's working for and is still working for the juvenile justice system here, has a great supervisor, wrote a letter and a note to the Secretary of Defense and said, I have the following. I'm going to have Jim Fairbanks come up here in a couple of minutes and read that to you. But that letter got in the channels. And about a month and a half later, I got a call from the Secretary of Defense's office saying, Walter, you're in Ohio. Do you know anything about this juvenile justice center in Mahoning County? I said, oh, wait a minute. Let me say, yeah, I think I do. Well, we want you to find out some things about it, and we have an award that we want to present to the judge, obviously, and to Mr. Crosby about the outstanding job that he has done. So the important thing is to hear what this young man wrote about his supervisor when all these things are happening around us with young men and women that sometimes makes you go and talking to yourself. This young man put this together. You want to come up here, Jim, and read this? This is the letter that got everybody's attention between here and Washington and got us here today. Go ahead, Jim.
The service member had an opportunity to put his boss in for an award. So he learned that part of it. But he had to take the initiative to ESGR on the computer and fiddle with it and click, 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 and finally get to why he wanted to get an award to his boss. So when he finally got to the part where he had to put the nomination narrative, he wrote down here. Please send the award to my state ESGR field committee to formally present to my supervisor. My supervisor, Michael Crosby, who is the second shift supervisor, is very supportive of my military obligation. His famous words are, and I get this one, just give me the paperwork and I'll take care of the rest. Even after contracting COVID-19 from a recent military training exercise, I was still in direct contact with my supervisor while in quarantine. And then also he put, please send the award framed. Because if you don't even put that down, the award won't come with a big fancy frame. The government's trying to save a few bucks, so they put cheap frames on it. But the main thing is it takes the employee time to take the initiative to sit down and do this. You know, we have half the Guard and Reserve people are the ones who are being deployed today. And that's why we encourage them, because we can't really offer the bosses much for that. They don't get paid any extra money when they lose maybe one of their best employees for months. So the best we can do is pat them on the back and say, you know, thank you very much. We know you got an employee who is probably better than the average employee because of the additional training and all the things they learn in the military. But we also know when you lose the person for months at a time, that's a major disadvantage. So unfortunately, big business and government agencies are really taking the hit on this because the business with one or two people can't very well have their employee go off for a year. I'll give you another one. I just put a pre-deployment meeting on in North Canton to 200 Army Reserve MPs. They're all being deployed, I think, this month. I think it's Saudi Arabia. But here goes, 200 employers out there who all of a sudden are losing 200 employees for a whole year. And so, we really appreciate, when government and businesses do hire our Reserve and National Guard people. By law, they can't fire them and all that. However, we know that you can get rid of an employee if you really want to down the road. So we really appreciate it, and we really appreciate members who appoint when they have a really good boss that helps them out, especially with the paperwork.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
As Jim pointed out too, the financial risk that comes with all this, and we're currently working on that because we're trying right now, I'll be going down to DC to testify on this, is that we're trying to get government some additional funds when somebody is deployed, when the private sector to get some tax breaks that the business community understands. So with that in mind, we want to thank all of you, the elected officials, the appointed officials that are here for doing the job that you do here in the Valley. And like I said, when this popped up about Mahoning County, I just like, wow, I think I could handle this pretty good. Judge,
Thank you.
it's all
Thank you.
yours.
And I have Mr. Chambers here. He's our director of the detention facility, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
So,
Hello.
And West, I think you all know West Skills.
Oh, yeah. Hi,
Court
Wes.
Administrator. But thank you. Thank you, and thank you. So honored to have you. So, thank you.
Andy, would he like to say a few
Would he
words?
like?
Right, would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
Okay, there we go.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Well, I mean, it's an honor, honestly. I honestly don't know what to say. I appreciate just being recognized for this, for everything. So that's really, I'm just appreciative. I just want to say thank you all.
I just have to- Oh, go ahead, go ahead, no, go ahead.
We were gonna get some pictures, but finish up,
Go ahead,
Judge,
no, okay.
when you're ready.
All right, we're gonna take pictures now. I've got two other topics. Go
You
ahead.
sure? Okay. Commissioners, come on. You want to come up here, Anna, by the flag? Is that better?
Wherever you want. I mean, do you want the judge or
You
Walter?
gotta get your mom in here too.
Who invited him?
Maybe 2 rows.
These guys at 108, we gotta make it.
I'm joking. I'm gonna get over here. I'm trying to.
All righty. Everybody look at me, smile.
That's mine.
Lovely, lovely.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you.
Thank you for the photo. It's very nice. Nice touch. Thank you. Well, as much as we're honored by this award for Michael Crosby, if you've noticed, the flags went up on Wick Avenue over the bridge.
Yes.
And
Was
that
up
was
there
done
Thursday.
through our court. through our TBC unit, our Brotherhood Council, and with staff. And so we put the flags up in honor of all of our veterans and all of those who are serving. So wanted to announce that those were from this court. And then one final thing, I thought we'd give a real brief update on the summer work program,
Yes.
because that's exciting. What's real quickly?
So the summer work program is kicked off. It started on June 1st. With COVID, it was a very hard transition. With help with Jobs and Family Services, we already have 150 students placed.
Great.
We have 22 current work sites throughout the entire county. We have our expectation to have 30 additional county work sites. In 2019, we employed approximately 383 students, and that's our goal for this year. So it's been a tough transition getting used to going back into this with COVID, but the students are willing, and we're doing a good job placing them. And thanks, JFS, for Lori Murphy for helping with everything she does.
We have applications because we
Yeah.
still have a lot of sites. This year, JFS, the amount was increased from 400,000 to 600,000.
Good.
So that means we've just done a great job in this county employing youth in the summer. So if you know of any youth, make sure they
Yeah, reach out to us. It's on the
reach out to
application
juvenile
here.
court.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sure.
Now, that's not just summer now, that's all year.
No, the program runs from June 1st through September 30th,
Okay.
or until the funds are exhausted.
Okay.
So if they go past that, we don't, we can go
You can
actually.
continue. Did you get any government agencies to do that, like our county offices?
We do. We actually hired someone to do with Dave actually contacted as one of the townships and the government entities. So Sydney Schuler has reached out, and we have a recycling center. I mean, they're coming in like crazy. So yes.
And it's a nice program for the county because it's all the way North Jackson, Poland, Lowville. It covers everybody, the city. So it spreads the money throughout the whole county.
Well,
So
that's
we thank you for the support of it. And we also thank JFS.
Yeah, it's very helpful to the political subdivisions and get, office help, grass cutting help, they get assistance in a lot of areas, so.
Well, if you can keep spreading the word. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Judge.
giving us
Thanks,
time.
Wes.
And
Yeah,
we be
perfect.
excused. We're
Thank
excused.
you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
If you need more.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Very good. Very nice.
Audrey? Can Audrey unmute?
I'm on unmute.
Audrey, I don't know if you had any comments about what the judge was saying about the summer program?
Well, what she's saying is absolutely correct. And I have Lori Murphy on the phone. Lori Murphy was instrumental and our lead in the summer youth program, as she has been always. And she communicated this and correlated this with the judge's office. And I give thanks to Lori Murphy and our JFS department for working with the summer youth program. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Audrey.
Okay.
Thanks, Audrey. Okay, everybody left. All right.
All right, Lori, thanks.
Anyone else? Public comments? Mr. Rapovi?
Yeah, I just wanted to stop. I saw yesterday, Mr. Householder was removed from Columbus. I just wanted to thank our representatives Hagan, Wojcik, and O'Brien. And I'm just sad that our local representative voted to keep Mr. Householder. All the corruption we've grown up with in the Mahoning Valley, it's sad that that wasn't taken into account. And I know there are accusations, but they will be proven. And I want to commend the 3 that voted yes to expel him.
Thanks, Mike. Householder threw him out.
Yeah, who didn't vote?
Al Catrona.
Al
Mr.
Catrone was,
Sarno.
yeah, Al Catrone was on radio before I came in. He explained his position. So if you go on to Dan Rivers' website, listen to his website. When I called in to Dan Rivers, I said, I want to hear Michelle's opinion because she's the one that sponsored the bill. So I want to hear her voice before I make a decision.
So it's final. He's expelled, right? Okay.
But he can still run if he's found not guilty.
Right. Anyone else? Mr. Frost? Nice to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Anything?
No. thank you.
No? Okay. How about the lady in the back? I don't think I've met you.
Hi, Stacia Ortis.
Oh, my God. You know, I'm looking at you and who is this lady?
Now, I am now working for Coleman Mental Health, a nonprofit. So I plan on,
Welcome,
I left some
Stacia.
information for the three of you, and I hope to be attending the commissioners meeting and met with Joe and some of the other folks in the county, and just there's such a great need, and as you know, with the mental health crisis, and I'm just pleased to
Thanks for
be
coming.
working amongst that. So thank you.
Good seeing you. Okay, anyone else? No?
Stacia, they're actually all in my building, so. everybody-
Yeah.
We gotta move. Yeah, I know. All right.
Just go back and get it. Please.
See how he's worn off on me, Dave? See how he's worn off on me? All right. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I need a motion to approve previous minutes of board meeting number 23 and approval of bills for payment.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Journal entry number 1.
Motion to approve journal entry number 1.
Second. Roll call.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes, under agreements, we have letters A through I and Convention and Visitors Bureau. There she is. I'm looking for the screen.
I don't have to hit
Yeah.
unmute. Here I am. I just stand up.
Hi, Linda.
Hi there.
Okay.
This is just a simple agreement to place an ad in the YSU football program for the upcoming season.
Very good. All righty. Engineers, Mr. Genetti. Oh, look good, Pat.
It's weird not.
Tie on.
The star of the show. I think the sheriff has more agenda items than myself. But
Because I'm way better than you. Continue, Pat.
Letter B is an agreement with TSI Western Star for repairs to vehicle number 62. The estimated amount is $1,095.66. And letter C is an agreement with Henderson Products. This is for repairs to vehicle 65. And the estimated amount is $1,592.13. Both are non-general funds.
Going off cheap there. My compliments. All right. Facilities, Mr. Fortunato?
Good morning, everyone. This is the lowest of 3 quotations that were obtained. It's for water treatment of both our boilers and air conditioning chillers at the courthouse, admin building, justice center, and.
All righty. Job and family, Audrey?
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, this agreement gives our CSEA case managers access to a consolidated lead evaluation and reporting. It reports a database with connected with West Publishing Corporation. The CLEAR database has an up-to-date information and is a valuable tool for our CSEA case managers to use and locate non-custodial parents. The agreement also provides prison location services to help locate non-custodial parents in the United States and U.S. prisons from the non-general fund. Thank you.
Thank you. Lead, Mr. Purrier?
Good morning. Letter F is an agreement with American Pinnacle to do lead hazard control work at 206 Truesdale. G is an agreement with American Pinnacle for lead hazard control work at 70 Todd Lane. And H is an agreement with American Pinnacle for lead hazard control work at 1704 Oak Hill.
Thank you, Mary Ellen.
You're welcome.
And purchasing, Mr. Fortunato?
This is an agreement with Murphy Contracting Company, who is a general contractor for the courthouse restoration preservation. What they're doing now, this is the order granite cornerstone and plaque getting anticipated for the time capsule. And after they get the contract, I'll have more information as far as time when it'll be available, so we could coordinate then.
Yes.
Whatever you want to do as far as the installation of the time capsule.
Okay. Very good. Jimmy, appreciate you how you've kept things moving to get this thing accomplished.
Thank you.
All right. That being said, motion to approve agreements.
Motion to approve agreements number 2.
Second. Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Motion to approve resolutions.
Motion to approve resolutions number 1 additions.
Second. Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Moving on, resolution of awards to Anna.
Good morning, Commissioners, Nancy, Jimmy.
This is to award the Virginia Avenue Sidewalk Improvements Project Phase 2 to Faust Construction, Inc. in the amount of $79,883.69, non-general and low bid. This is part of our community development block grant.
Thank you, Lena. Motion,
Motion to approve number 2, resolution of awards A.
Second.
roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Middy O'Geady?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficant?
Yes. Resolutions, letters A through L, and we'll begin with Commissioners, OMB. Yeah,
Commissioners, in Audrey's absence today, this is a resolution to approve the agreement and expenditures with Economic Action Group, Inc. for the summer internship program and funded by the ARPA money in the amount of $6,000
okay,
total for 4 years.
very good.
Oh, number 2?
Yes.
Or Karen, maybe? This is a resolution approving the appointment of one account clerk.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, resolution fixing time, place of view and final hearing in notice of proposed petition to vacate an unnamed 11-foot alley in Goshen Township. And Nancy, I believe you have that all squared away for us
In
to
July,
do that in July. Okay. Dog warden, Ms. Fry.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nancy. This is a resolution of necessity to purchase 2 Ford Transit cargo vans from Middletown Ford and 1 Ford Interceptor SUV from statewide Ford Lincoln through the State of Ohio Cooperative Purchasing Program. The estimated amount of $110,751. And this is going to replace 2 of our existing vans that I think the oldest is a 2006. So we got a lot of miles, and this actually the passenger door pops open when you put it in reverse. So it's not good.
Not good.
Oh, my.
I used to drive cars like that in the 70s. Had to climb in a window to get in.
Oh, boy.
We know those vehicles are badly needed, Diane, so.
They are. Thank you.
Okay, EMA, who do we, yeah, okay.
Commissioners, this resolution is approving the moral obligation payment of $20,692.01 to B&J Electric of Poland for costs associated with cyber repairs at various locations, which was over the $30,000 limitation of the original agreement.
All righty. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Hazmat.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is for the approval of 6 resolutions to certify costs and recovery to the prosecutor's office for unauthorized spills. All these 6 incidents are incidents that have occurred this year.
Wow, thanks, Adam. Okay, Human Resources, Karen.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nancy, this is a resolution to appoint 1 Human Resources Administrator.
Okay, thanks, Karen. Letter H, OMB grants. Anna.
Commissioners, this is a resolution to submit a waiver request to the Ohio Development Services Agency from the revolving loan funds in the amount of $10,197.80 to assist homeless veterans housing.
Thank you. Well-deserved and well-needed. Sanitary, Mr. Genetti.
Commissioners, letter H, a resolution of necessity to purchase a cargo van with imaging equipment from Visual Imaging Resources. This is through the State of Ohio purchasing schedule in the estimated amount of $198,445.
Thank you, Pat. And Sheriff Green, welcome.
Weed whackers with that?
No, that's sanitary.
Morning, Commissioners. How are you today?
Good.
All right, this is a resolution in support of the application from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs. It's the Office of Victims of Crime from 2021 and Enhanced Collaborative Model Task Force to Combat Human Trafficking, and approves the Memorandum of Understanding with the Sheriff's Office and Compass Family and Community Services to provide grant implementation, application processes, and a local match in the amount of $25,333. I don't know what all of that means. Basically what this is, it's a federal grant in partnership with Compass and us. They will be working with us with our human trafficking task force. I think the the initial thrust of this was to try and get agencies to start up working with victims of human trafficking and all of that, which we've already had the task force in place now. Gabby is over here. She's a new analyst with us. You've already met our dog Bubba, which is the electronics dog. He's awesome. I can have Joe Caruso with Compass talk about the component that deals really with the psychological aspect and what do you do with these individuals once you find them and you need to get them help. This grant will be for $750,000 on our end over 3 years. And I believe it's about 300,000 for Compass over 3 years. But all it's going to do is support us and what we're doing already. You know the initiatives, you know the different things we do. It does cost a lot of money to do this, and this is going to be a huge help.
Joe Caruso, please.
I appreciate the opportunity to come back and visit with you, and appreciate the collaboration with the Sheriff's Department. This is a great project because human trafficking is going on every day, not only in our community, but throughout the state of Ohio and throughout the nation. And the Sheriff's Task Force has done an incredible job of helping identify individuals that are actually out there working to traffic people. And what we do at our at Compass Family and Community Services is not only do we provide the behavioral health treatment services for these individuals, but we also have our domestic violence shelter, Sojourner House, and our runaway homeless and abandoned youth shelter, Daybreak Youth Crisis. And we are seeing children that are being trafficked as well as adults that are being trafficked. And it is, as it has become more and more apparent, people are identifying, they didn't even realize they were being trafficked. And when you start to ask the questions about what's being impacted in their lives, and I will tell you, there are horrible things that are happening in these individuals, and the traumas that they are experiencing and their kids are experiencing are horrendous. And when the Sheriff's Department identifies somebody that's being trafficked, one of the biggest challenges is you might have somebody who is hooked on drugs. They're hooked on drugs because they're being trafficked. And then that addiction and the trauma from a mental health standpoint causes that individual and their entire family. We're talking about men, women, and children that are being trafficked on a daily basis. And the task force has gone out and has, made, and we've participated in times when they've gathered people up that were being trafficked. And, one of the things, you might have drug paraphernalia on you, okay? But you're being trafficked. And I know working with the Sheriff's Department and the prosecutor's offices, they have to press the charges against these individuals. But when we find out the extent of what's taking place, the vast majority of the time, those charges don't go forward and they get the treatment that they need and the safety that they need. And so some people are coming from different places in the country that wind up being here. And so then we have to work with them to help relocate them back to their home, their home communities, so they have the support. Many times, like in domestic violence situations, these traffickers want to isolate the individuals so that they have complete and utter control over them. And it is one of those crimes that is so incredibly costly, not only to that individual, but to the community at large because of what is taking place and how these people are being trafficked. So it's a great opportunity to work with the Sheriff's Department to support them in what they do on a daily basis from a law enforcement standpoint, because they're putting their lives on the line and helping identify and take these individuals off the street. And from a deputy standpoint, they walk into these situations and their task force walks into these situations. It's traumatic for them. Because when you see the conditions and what's happening with these individuals, the traumatic event of them going in is equally important to help support them as well. So we appreciate the opportunity. And I will tell you, from a grant funding position, with local resources, shrinking in various areas, being able to, your support for this local match, we're bringing back, as the sheriff said, $700,000 for their work, $300,000 in federal dollars from our work. So those are our taxpayers' dollars that we send from our community down to Washington that would be coming back to us. And to match $25,000 to get $100,000, that's a really good return on investment.
Yes.
That's right, Joe. Carol.
Joe, and probably the sheriff too would be, on this question. Are you noticing that in Mahoning County, that the trafficking issues that we have are happening all over the county,
Yes,
including Youngstown?
including, it's everywhere.
Everywhere in the county.
It's not,
It's not just.
it's
one
not
area.
isolated to a particular area or spot or socioeconomic class. It is everywhere. You know, unfortunately, I mean, you have people who have significant means that are the ones that are supporting the trafficking.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's very, very sad.
Disgusting.
And we work with children's services because as kids in the wealth, you know, coming out of the child welfare system, many kids at 17, they turn 18 and now all of a sudden, where do they go? And what do they do? Because they're emancipated. And sometimes, unfortunately, and there's predators out there that want to scoop them up and get them into their trafficking rings.
Campus of Care.
So
The Campus of Care will have respite for them.
the Campus of Care will have housing and
Housing.
and respite for the individuals so that they, again, can heal emotionally and physically, as well as then get on a path of getting back into a normal life. So we appreciate your support, and the sheriff and his team have been absolutely wonderful, and Anna's assistance in shepherding things through and you know, helping it. We really appreciate the partnership. So thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Commissioners, for your consideration.
Thank you, Joe. And one thing I'd like to say with respect to Sheriff and yourself, that, you know, Northeast Ohio is considered to have the highest incidence rate in human trafficking, which includes our community. So efforts like this and the sheriff going after grant money and partnering with you, Joe, Encompass is going to help bring those numbers down and hopefully eradicate it. So we appreciate all these efforts that you have done, and you too, Sheriff Green. Jerry, was there something else?
Commissioner, if I can add one more thing.
Yes.
I mean, the domestic violence shelter is celebrating its 30th birthday this year. We wish we were not in business. Okay, our runaway homeless and abandoned youth shelter is 43 years in service to our community. Our rape crisis and counseling program, which is also a part of this as well, has been 42 years. And, you know, those are businesses that we wish that we were not in, and we could eradicate those. But as long as the individuals that find themselves as survivors, and we look at all of these individuals as not victims, but as survivors of these heinous crimes, that, you know, with the sheriff's department and local law enforcement and the task force and this ability to help this and is probably one of the best things that I've seen in a long time.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, I
Gabby,
could have never
welcome.
said all that. We just go out and arrest them.
But
There's such a huge component, honestly, behind all of that. So a lot of man hours of work, a lot of components that it takes, but what do you do? You know, what do you do with them after the fact, after the arrest? These are human beings. They got to get their lives back on track. So you ready with it?
Yes, sir. Letter K.
All right, this one is a resolution to support the application from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services for the 2020 coronavirus emergency supplemental funding in the amount of $119,374.30. This is basically another state grant. It's to help local governments, local agencies, and especially jails to buy equipment. And what we'll be doing with it is we'll be buying the ionizers, the sanitizing machines, different equipment, cleaning equipment, PPE, and all of that with this grant money, if we get it, but I'm sure we will. Number I? L, sorry. This is a resolution in support of the application from the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections to provide capital funding provided through Senate Bill 310 in the amount of $1.4 million and some change for the construction and or renovation of county jails. This application is kind of neat because they never had it in the state of Ohio. They pushed it through the legislation, and it's actually a fund that's been set aside in state dollars for the rebuilding of jails in Ohio and to upgrade any capital improvements that need to be done. Our jail is going on, what are we at, 20 some years now. We're applying for capital improvement for our security system. It's a software system. It's about $1.1 million. It's called Black Creek. It's quite an upgrade. Don't know if we'll get this grant. Hope we do. We also have a vacuum. It's basically it's called a vacuum plumbing system within our jail. It's getting antiquated, and these are all dollars that hopefully we'll be able to get from the state that we won't have to pay with local county dollars.
Great.
Maybe we could use that to get the hot water up to the right temperature, right?
You know, we have a lot of, what's it called in the calcium. And you got to see how quickly that builds up and how incredibly expensive that is.
Did we pay that invoice yet, Jim? Maybe we can use this grant money to.
How much was it, Jim? How much was that?
Oh, boy, where that was. We had two parts where we tried to alleviate putting pumps in first by running other lines, and it didn't get the hot water going. So then we put pumps in to try to take it where it should be. We're probably at about 100,000.
See, I thought it was actually going to be quite more expensive
me
than
too.
that, but it's a giant plumbing issue in a very tall building. And, you know, they do one side of the building at a time. And when you cut that copper pipe, the pipe should be this thick around, but the calcium that's built up, there's about this much.
It's like an
That's why
artery.
that's why we live right
Yeah,
close.
it's actually like, yeah.
It's because we live right close to Mineral Ridge, right? I mean, you can't use the demand hot water tank in the whole valley, you know, because of that reason.
Yeah.
Water filters are filled up within a month. They're probably flooded.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I can say is there's a lot of grants out there that you can apply for. We're very confident we're going to benefit by all of these in one way, shape, or form. Maybe not for the amounts that we've asked for. Hopefully it will be.
You guys have done an amazing job
Yeah.
getting them. Amazing.
Yeah, Jared. Okay, motion to approve on agreements A through L.
So moved.
Second, roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficant?
Yes, and for the good of the order, the elected officials or department heads care to comment. Pat?
Since we're talking about grants, I know last week there was some talk about the federal grant that we received through Tim Ryan's office in the Jackson Township area, Mahoning Avenue Industrial Corridor is what it's called. Didn't get an opportunity to expand on that. We don't have the project scoped yet, but essentially the area is going to go from Route 45 west to Duck Creek along Mahoning Avenue. It's also going to include Rosemont Road from Mahoning Avenue to Ballot. I wanted to thank not only Congressman Ryan, Commissioner Ditzler, Trafficani and Rigetti as well. Dave had called me Friday night about 5 o'clock. Wanted to know why we didn't apply for a grant that none of us knew about. So we put the pedal to the metal. Myself and Deputy Engineer Durbin went in over the weekend, filled out the application. I was on the phone with Tom Frost. He went out Monday and was able to acquire, 12 to 15 letters of support from the local businesses. We got the application in by noon Monday and found out last week that it was officially awarded. So we were given $4 million to come up with a 20% local match, which is $1 million. But there's a lot of different funding sources we're going to tie together for this. We've been working on this corridor for several years and just struggled to get funding for it. So when this opportunity came up, it was just a great collaboration of county, township, and federal government to pull it all together to get it. So I wanted to, not only thank the congressman for making us aware of this. I talked to Rick Leonard and Pat Lowry, probably more than they cared to hear from me in that short period. People were answering the phone over the weekend, which was nice. But Tom really busted his butt and helped us out too. Without his help, we would have never been able to get all those letters of support. And it's so needed because it ties together the Macy's expansion, Mom's Meals, Liberty Steel's issue with trying to haul heavy, Extrudex, the businesses on Rosemont that desperately need that road to be constructed to handle industrial type traffic, and it pulls together the Lordstown corridor as well. So it's a big win for our county, and I just wanted to commend everybody that was part of it.
Tom?
Yeah, it's pretty hard to follow Pat on that, but I'm in contact with Pat so frequently. And because he understands the needs that we have. And to get $4 million for an industrial corridor is huge in Jackson. We've had tons of new business out there. It's still coming and we don't have the infrastructure for it. So I think I want to thank Pat. He's calling me on a Saturday morning. He's in the office on a day off along with Bob Durbin. And I know the commissioners had a lot to do with that, and Tim Ryan's office as well. But it's just nice to see that the collaboration is there. Again, it's with all the county agencies. Sheriff's office works really well with us. Everybody does. It's just, we appreciate that. From a small township, that means a lot because we are totally dependent on you guys. So we appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay. Dave? Karen?
Well, no, we've gone through a lot today and just, Joe, Sheriff, Gabby, Anna, thank you so much. All the grant applications and the opportunity, to help people that are being taken advantage of. I know that, our focus really has been in Mahoning County with our board is the people, the residents that are in the condition and need the help, either through YDC as clients or, through human trafficking and the sheriff's department and all the monies that he secures to assist the residents and, and whether it's, through the CARES Act and things that help businesses and people, that's really what we all are here for, is to try and help 235,000 residents in Mahoning County and the surrounding area. I thank all of you for the hard work that you do. And I also just wanted to reiterate what Tom said. Tom, it just shows, that the people in the levels of government that represent their local community know it the best, and have, in most instances, the most difficult time securing funding to try and assist the programs and the opportunities. And that's why it behooves, our board and the other political subdivisions to work together to try and secure funding that open up corridors for communities, whether it be Jackson Township, where the interstate is, Beaver Township, New Middletown, those areas have, access to the interstate. As we all know, whether it's, Route 80, 76, they said in Austintown that our corridor there at the interstate was not only the largest between Chicago or between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, but the largest between New York and Chicago. So, those types of opportunities present, economic development, economic growth, and on the sheriff's part and Joe's part, also bring, undesirable entities into the communities as well. So it behooves all of us to work together, whether it's for economic development or for, assisting the residents. So it all works hand in hand. I thank everyone for doing such an amazing job.
Okay, then. That was great. That's what we all wanted to say to everyone. I want to thank Joe and the sheriff. And not that I don't want to thank Pat and Tom and everybody that brings economic development, but I have to thank you guys because human trafficking is something that I don't really think the people in our valley know exactly the extent of what's going on in Youngstown, Austintown, and Boardman right now with that issue. And because we're urban, because it's a city, because these are large townships, there's a lot going on. And I got to tell you, I can tell you on the fact from the city side that I have to thank your department and you, Joe, because you have taken care of many, many issues in respect to that. I've got to tell you that. I respect you for that one. That is a tough, tough job. I don't know that I could do that without just being crazy over it. I mean, it's hard to believe people have that mentality in this era that we are living in. I also want to thank Pat and Tom and everyone that's involved, Dave, for kind of getting you on board because no one knew that the grant was there, to you work 2 days constant to get that done, that's great. Keep it up. That's one of the major corridors now into Youngstown and down through town. And that's probably going to be one of the top economic development areas in the valley, coming out of that Jackson corridor. So that's going to be a good process. I see Jimmy Sutton here.
Yeah, you know,
from
what, I'm
Purple
so,
Cat.
at this point, I didn't mention Jimmy.
And I mean, Jimmy, you are a pillar.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I do. I mean, you do great work with your kids.
Well,
Just the best.
we are very thankful for a lot of the people in this room. I mean, out at our farm in Coatesville, we've been able to get wastewater grants. We've got water now, well water out there, so that, the clients can drink.
And we need to the commissioners need to build a lodge there, huh?
Yes.
We need to participate.
And you know what,
Plenty of
Jim,
land there.
the radio, I've always walked when I'm in town during the day, I walk by the radio station. I mean, the best, and your band. I mean, you gotta promote that band.
Just
They
telling
are
the ladies,
very
we,
good.
we're back. The band played at the MVR at 9:30 in the morning yesterday, so Jimmy Sutton was at a dance party on a Wednesday at 9:30.
So
I drove up and the music was so loud, I was like, oh my God, we're gonna get in trouble, but it was just a party, so.
Wow.
You
we're
guys-
back.
Was there Crown Royal, Jim?
There was not Crown Royal.
Oh.
But
I did purchase 2 beers for 2 of the clients.
But
The alcohol, that was fun.
the band is phenomenal, the radio station. I mean, you have, along with other agencies, have put the most underserved to served, and to be just like everyone else, to go to work and to be a part of that. And the kitchen, the cafeteria. I mean, I could go on. I mean, I could
We
actually,
wouldn't have that if it wasn't for, some great people in this
oh,
room
that
helping
was,
us with that.
that's
so.
the best.
Jim, I watched the show with Eileen Gilmartin as well on TV with you going through over in Coatesville, the new development and, all the expansion and things you're doing. And, I was really excited to see that. Wanted to go out, try and raise some money to build one of the
All right,
cottages out there. So we'll definitely be in contact.
I'm done.
One last
Thank-
thing too, the health department, I want everybody to know, I know I'm blessed because with the COVID, our group was just about the first in the county to get our vaccinations. And 99 residential clients that were in charge. And out of that 99, only 4 had diagnosis of COVID.
Wow.
Wow.
Purple Cat, we have over 300 adults with disabilities that come, and I think we had 19 or 20. And out of all those numbers, we only had 1 that was significantly ill, and she's recovering. All the others were asymptomatic. That's a miracle. I know it's a miracle, but the county was there. They wanted us at the top of the list to get our vaccinations. It's a great example of how, a community comes together to take care of their weakest folks. And good job. They were on it.
Thank you, Jimmy. Keep up the good work. Joe, Jimmy, everybody, social services, great.
Well,
Valley.
in conclusion, if anybody has any doubt that nobody works in Mahoning County, there's nothing going on in Mahoning County, we don't know what you're doing, take a look at this agenda. And you look at all these items, all these grants, all these transactions, and all of these projects. There's a lot going on in Mahoning County. We have truly moved at breakneck speed in Mahoning County, particularly in the last year. We never missed one beat during COVID. County services continued to run, and we never missed one beat, and we kept the government open for the people. So if anybody has any questions, take a look at our agendas. Pat, he dominates the agenda of all these projects we have going on. You heard Sheriff Green today with all the grant money that's coming back here. That's important. That's what we are here to do. And I want to thank each and every one of you in this room for all that you do. We take care, we lock up the bad guys, and we try to help the good guys. And that's basically the business that we're in. And I'm very proud working with Carol and Dave. We have done a lot here, and I don't mind tooting my horn when we need to do it. but just look at the agenda. And you could look at the previous agendas as how much is happening. And there's more to come. There's more projects in the hopper with respect to what Mahoning County will be doing. So keep watching. Joe, good to see you. Thank you for all you do. Joe's a household name here in Mahoning County. He knows more about government than I'll ever know. He's a wonderful man, and it's nice having you here. And Tom, thank you for how you hustled, because Pat told me, I got a call late that day. It's like, you got to get a signature on this grant right away. And he told me what you did. So your community should be very proud of you, because that's going to help businesses. And North Jackson's known for their industrial parks and industrial business. And most of the land out there is all rated heavy industry. So that's going to help tie all that together, like Pat said. And that's big projects that's coming. And I always said out there in North Jackson, the Bailey Road corridor, you're going to be buying it by the inch out there. And I see good things happening. Jimmy Sutman, thank you. You know, when people mention your name, they say there's a man that does God's work, and I believe it. And I want to commend you and thank you. And please come to our meetings anytime that you'd like. It's nice having you. Purple Cat,
Bring the
Farm,
band.
everybody.
Jimmy,
And bring the band and I'll jam a few tunes.
everybody
Can
up.
handle that.
You play any AC/DC?
Oh, they do, yes.
Oh, okay.
They do.
Any
That's all
Ozzy,
they
Black
play.
Sabbath?
We could, if we practice a little, we could get there.
All right.
We could amp up the AC/DC.
There you
Wake
go.
up the
You know,
courthouse.
That's my band.
Jimmy.
Anthony,
But then we gotta wrap it up.
before we finish,
Yeah.
I just wanted to offer our condolences to the Kloss family. Richard Kloss, a member of the Facilities Department here at the county for over 20 years. A good friend of all of ours. I graduated with Richard from Fitch. His brother is the captain at the police department for 30 plus years. His other brother, David, is a captain on a fire department in Indianapolis. His mother and father are in their 90s. His dad was the treasurer of every civic organization in Austin town right up till he passed a year ago at 95 years old. I believe his mother's 97 and still doing well. I mean, just an amazing family that have been in community service forever. And Richard's a good friend and a good person. And he had some underlying areas, but the sad thing is that he got his COVID shot. He contacted COVID 2 weeks ago and he died from it with the shot, but, predominantly because of some underlying previous
And they
health
put him on a
issues.
ventilator.
Yeah.
He didn't make it off.
So our condolences to the Kloss family.
Actually, next week, we've all been to funerals. I've had 5 in the last week and a half, and there'll be calling hours for my buddy Rich. So we're going to do a little thing for some of the folks here and have a moment of silence who died. I knew each one of those individuals personally. I'm sure David Carroll did too. It's just insane. I mean, where are you going? I'm going to calling hours. Where are you going? I'm going to calling hour. It's crazy.
Well,
So we feel really
God's will,
bad.
That'll subside a little.
All right, Nancy, our next meeting.
Next Thursday, right here.
All righty, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
So second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Chafficanty?
Thank you all.